Ladies and gentlemen, some current breaking transfer news coming out of Bradford City is that midfielder Clarke Oduor has joined Luton Town on loan. Now this is a pre-record, I've just found this information out just after 12:30, and obviously this will come out whenever it gets officially announced, but because it's quite likely that it'll get announced while I'm already on the way to Stoke, that's why you are getting a pre-record reaction. But I can't believe it, Clarke Oduor has joined Luton Town on loan. If you do go on to enjoy today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well. If you are new, can we try and hit 200 likes on today's video? And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. When I obviously first heard this news, my initial reaction was, with a few less expletives, what the hell? Is probably the best way that I can put it. I am incredibly surprised that Oduor has not maybe kept a League One side, because I think, teams, with all due respect, like Northampton and Exeter, I think he could have gone in there and improved them. But Luton Town, who, in pre-season, one of the favourites to win the League One title, they've already got a plethora of very good midfield options. I'm incredibly surprised by this move, and I'm also even more surprised that it's not a permanent deal. Obviously, there is no article or statement for us to read with it, once again, being a pre-record, but you look at this transfer from a Luton Town point of view. He's 25 years of age, clearly still got a lot of potential, but Luton are deciding just to bring him in on loan. I don't see him going in there and being a regular starter. It also does depend where are Luton going to play him, because I think that's been Oduor's biggest problem throughout his 2 years so far at Bradford City, or just over 2 years now. You never really know what his best position is. He's played, as a wing back, he's played as a holding midfielder, attacking midfield, as a winger, and it's all well and good being versatile and being able to play in a number of different positions, but when you're just kind of not consistently showing enough in any of them positions, then it begs the question of, are you actually good enough? And I think there was obviously a big question mark over whether Oduor was good enough to play for Bradford City in League Two. We saw, I would say, throughout the majority of his time in a Bradford City shirt, that he just lacked a bit of consistency. There was a period around February, March sort of time in 2024 where he got a couple of goals and looked quite good in that period under Graham Alexander. It was when Bobby Poynton couldn't even find himself in at the matchday squad. But apart from that, I do think Oduor's only shown glimpses and flashes, and I think he's very good technically, very good on the ball. Obviously, he's not the quickest, I wouldn't say he's the strongest either, but we've just not seen Oduor play consistently enough over the last year or so to really comment. I think it's important for him to leave Bradford City and try and nail down a regular spot somewhere else, but is he going to do that at Luton Town? If we have a look then at Clarke Oduor's campaign last year for Bradford City, in League Two he featured on 19 occasions, with just 7 of those games being starts, playing just over 800 minutes. So if he wasn't going to play, or didn't play enough football last season, that's including big injuries to Patterson, to Sarcevic, Poynton had a little bit of time on the sidelines as well. And obviously, we didn't really have many options up until January before we brought in the likes of George Lapsley and Tommy Lee as well, but just 7 league starts for him last campaign. He did score the 1 goal, which was a pretty late equaliser away at Barrow, and you think without that point, we probably don't go on and win promotion. So it was quite an important goal, but he did fail to register an assist. Didn't create a single big chance as well in that time, with an 85% passing accuracy. I do think passing and dribbling probably is his best attribute. He's very good at keeping the ball close to himself, using his body to manipulate and manoeuvre the ball, but I just don't think we saw enough end product, not enough goal contributions, especially last campaign. Defensively, he's going to bring you very little. He might, recover a few balls, but apart from that, you're not going to see many interceptions and tackles and clearances, all that sort of stuff. Duel stats, they're actually not awful for the type of player that Clarke Oduor is, winning over 40% of his 40% of his aerial duels and nearly 45% of his ground duels, with a 54% successful dribble rate. So I think I would certainly say his dribbling is his best attribute, but I think the thing that lets him down the most is the lack of goal contributions. Just 1 goal contribution last season, and the year before that in a Bradford City shirt he got 3 goals and 3 assists, where obviously he did play a little bit more often, 32 total appearances at 20 starts, played double the amount of minutes, and obviously got a fair few more goal contributions. 6 goal contributions in 20 starts isn't an awful return, but obviously just 1 goal contribution last campaign is nowhere near good enough. Just 7 league starts, when I don't think he had many, if any, injuries last campaign, so I think it's best for all parties for him to move on. but I can't believe he's moving to Luton. That was meant to say Luton Town, but I guess because I'm in so much of a shock, my voice and mouth is physically malfunctioning. Even towards the back end of last campaign, when we went on our very good run, he's played twice for Bradford City competitively in the calendar year of 2025. Obviously on New Year's Day away to Barrow, and then he got 10 or 15 minutes on off the bench in a 3-0 win at home to Cheltenham Town, and that's all we've seen of him in this calendar year. For a 25, 26-year-old, he needs to be playing regular, consistent first-team football. But now I go back to my original point. Is Clarke Oduor going to play consistently at Luton Town? I just don't see it personally. Certainly don't see it in the centre of the park as a midfielder, which is where Oduor wants to play. He sees himself as a number 10. But is he going to get in ahead of Nahki Wells? They've got Jordan Clark. They've got Chandon Baptiste, who can play as a holding midfielder. And you've got so many different options. They've got George Saville as well. So where is Clarke Oduor going to fit into there? Is he just going to go to Luton and be a bit part player? That'd seem bizarre from all parties, really. Surely Luton are looking at this loan move with a potential of picking him up on a free transfer in the summer. Obviously, it's good for Bradford City because we'll get some wages off of the wage bill. I don't know what Oduor's on, so let's say £2.5 grand a week. I think he'll be on a decent amount considering he came in from Barnsley, I think, at the time, so I don't think he'll be on the cheapest of wages. If they're paying, say he's on £2.5 grand a week, if they're paying £1.5 grand a week, I think we'll probably, that'd do us. £2 grand would be very nice. Obviously, these are just random figures that I'm throwing out there for you, just kind of giving you an educated guess. But with him going out on loan, as much as of the wage bill that you can get back from somebody like Clarke Oduor, who's not going to feature much this season, who's not going to play, despite he's not been strictly told he's not in our plans like this, what's happened with Smith and Wilson. I do think it is best for all parties, but I'm baffled by the move to Luton Town because I just don't see him playing there, and he needs to play regular, consistent first-team football. I think if you give him a run of games, you could see a very good player in Clarke Oduor, but he's now 25, 26 years of age, and he's not played that much senior football in his career. If we have a look then at how Bradford City's squad is now lining up for the 2025-26 League One campaign. Looking at our options in the attacking midfield positions, then obviously you've got people like Tyreek Wright who can play or have played recently in them number 10 positions. You've got Tommy Lee, who also did it a little bit last campaign, so did Callum Kavanagh. But I think with the arrival of Nick Powell, I think it's pretty much impossible that we'd see Clarke Oduor play any first-team football this season. Maybe with Lewis Richards having the odd injury problem now and again, Oduor could have filled in as a second-choice left wing-back, but then you've also got Tyreek Wright, who can do that job and probably would do that job a little bit better. You've got Brad Halliday and Josh Nerfel, who can also do that job as well. So, like I mentioned a few times, I think Clarke Oduor leaving Bradford City this summer is best for all parties, but I just don't see from his point of view why going to Luton Town, unless he massively believes in his own ability and massively believes that he'd thrive under Matt Bloomfield in that Luton system. I just don't see a world in where he plays 40 league games this campaign. Obviously, we are now a fair few in. We actually beat Luton Town a couple of weeks ago, but I wish him all the best. You know, he's never been somebody that's come across as a bad egg or anything like that. You know, he's just one that's unfortunately not really worked out. It's that sort of summer. We go back to the summer of 2023 where we offered these 23 to 27-year-olds these 3-year contracts in hoping that they come good, like Clarke Oduor, like Tyler Smith. There was a couple others in there as well, and a lot of them just unfortunately haven't come off. So I wish Oduor all the very best at Luton. From my point of view, there is a lot of question marks raised over if he's actually going to play for, I think they're called the Hatters, but I wish him all the best nonetheless. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there then for today's video. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well. If you are new, can we try and hit 200 likes as I mentioned at the start of today's video? And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts on midfielder Clarke Oduor joining Luton Town on loan? Again, this is a pre-record, so if any information is slightly inaccurate, then I do obviously apologise for that. But I am probably already in Stoke by the time that you see this video. Thank you all for watching, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon for another one.